Welcome back to our channel. I'm Dior.
Hi, I'm Uchenna.
And I'm IJ.
And we're doing the last episode of season 4's Ready to Love. This is the part 2 of the reunion. So we started off tonight with Walter and Sabrina, right? Walter and Sabrina. First of all, the name of this episode, we'll name it Waxed and Vexed. Vexed and Waxed.
Waxed and Vexed.
I really like that. That was cute.
That was cute.
Okay, so Walter and Sabrina, we looked at, I guess they started with Walter, really. They were looking at his journey to finding love. And they showed, when he first started dating Sabrina, and then when he started to engage in a relationship with Mumin. And then they did a recap of their, I don't know what you want to call it at the end.
Relationship, yeah. Oh, you mean their decision day?
Yeah, decision day. Okay, that's what we call it. They recap decision day. And, from there, we just kind of figure out, like, we get a little more information about what happened. So as we know, Sabrina didn't, she ended the relationship because she didn't feel like she was a priority. She didn't feel like she was number one. And so then the host asked Mumin if she felt like she was number one. And she also said that she didn't feel like she was number one. And that I guess it seemed like Walter had always been saying that Sabrina was his number one pick. He just wasn't showing it.
No, not to Sabrina. He wasn't. Like, I don't understand how he could think that she's the number one when he doesn't call her, when he doesn't text her, and he didn't deny it. So it wasn't like she was exaggerating. He just wasn't doing it.
Did she call?
So was she calling him and he wasn't answering? That's what I'm confused about.
Probably, I think so.
You think so?
Who knows? Who knows, right?
I don't know, because sometimes people put it on somebody else to get the relationship going and pursue and so forth. And the other person is just like, you can call me. Everybody's an adult. It's okay to pick up the phone and call somebody, even if you're a woman. Go ahead and call that person, let them know your interests and so forth, spark a conversation. You don't always have to wait for somebody to call you.
But sometimes, like, what if you're like feeding off their vibes? What if like she wasn't quite sure? I mean, she said that they were connected and she said she felt something. The only way I could see her maybe not reaching out, to him frequently is if she wasn't sure, like if like in their interactions, how he felt about her. And then in that sense, him initiating a phone call or a text or whatever may show her that, he's into me. And then she probably would have picked up from there. I don't know what happened, but
I can't imagine her not reaching out to him. I mean, she doesn't seem like this type that would wait. She seems like the type that would go for what she wants. And then if he's not reciprocating, then she might like back down.
I can see her doing both, honestly. She seems like she likes to be pursued. And she seems like if she wants something, she'll go and get it. So needless to say, neither one of them really gave, like I think the hostess should have asked Walter why he didn't call.
Right.
Why he didn't pursue. But this hostess left out so many questions that could have been asked.
Interesting.
She should have had a card. She should have carried a card with her with a whole bunch of questions for each set of person.
Well, I mean, what if she got put on at the last minute? I mean, she may have
she probably did because of COVID. She probably did. Yeah. So she probably watched the whole season in a day. Wanted to poke her eyes out, and then she went on the thing.
And was probably using a teleprompter for the questions.
Oh yeah. So were you guys surprised when Walter said that he was shocked that she ended things?
No, I wasn't.
I was surprised because that meant that he really cared for her.
It sounded like they had told each other that they, were gonna pick each other. That they had that conversation, and maybe since she never said anything different.
I don't think he was surprised because she turned him down. I think it was more of she turned me down because
he said he was surprised and hurt, actually. And
I don't think it was like that. I don't think it was like,
he didn't say I was hurt. He never said I was hurt.
He did say that.
He did say that.
Well, if he did it, I didn't believe it. It was more
I believed it.
I think it's more of an ego theme for him. Like he couldn't believe that.
He doesn't seem like an egotistical person though.
Okay,
first of all, confident in himself.
First of all, if you're pursuing somebody and she's your number one, you're not going to call the person.
But that's what we expect someone to do. But literally every person has a different way of handling things. That doesn't mean that they're not interested. It just means that they may not have the right courting skills.
After 10 weeks and you don't call?
I mean,
it was odd.
So the only time that you guys really
interacted. I don't think she said he never. I mean, I think she said he never called, but I think she clarified to the level that she would expect him to, with the level of interest that they expressed in each other. So I don't think it's that he never called her once.
Yeah, I think that the host should have asked Mumain, did he call you? Is this the same treatment that you were getting? So we would know if it was just Sabrina or if that's the way he is.
Well, Mumain felt like she was his mistress.
Which was funny, which is kind of funny. But I was happy. I mean, like when he said that, when the host asked, can this happen? Can you guys reconnect? And he said, I'm not gonna say no because we still had that connection when we saw each other. And then he, after the went to commercial break, he went over to her and hugged her. So, I mean, I think they make a striking couple, and if he's, what's that?
That ship has sailed.
Well, I mean, she didn't say no. And she's still probably single.
They're going to be nice to each other on the thing. That ship.
They don't have to be. He could be like, nah.
Yeah, but that's the type of people they are. And I think that ship has sailed. I don't think that they're going to get together again. I think it's done. It's gone.
I mean, I think they haven't
talked. They haven't talked since that day on the bridge. I don't know how long it's been. It could have been a week or two. We don't know because they didn't tell us. But they haven't talked since that. I mean, if somebody broke it off with you, and something that you guys thought that, okay, we're going to build a relationship, as he said, and he's hurt, you're going to contact that person and say,
not necessarily, your pride might not allow you to contact them.
I think it's easy to say what should have been done, but you don't do everything right in your relationship. Like no one does. So I think it's like hard to be really critical of people.
It's not being critical. It's just saying, it's just like almost like a next step. So you think that you guys have this really strong relationship like he did, and he's feeling hurt. He said he's feeling hurt after they break things off, after she surprisingly breaks things off. He doesn't ask for closure. He doesn't contact her.
But that's just how people are. It doesn't mean that he doesn't still have feelings for her. He's probably like hurt and he's not going to reach out. She's not going to reach out because she didn't feel like he treated her right. So they're not going to reach out together. But when circumstances put them together, then they might be like, oh, is something still there? So it might not be, it might be, but I can't say no, it's ship has sailed because I don't know. They seem like there was no hate between them. So
there's no hate.
I don't think they'll connect again, but I think it's hard to I think it's like unreasonable to say a person who didn't call you when y'all were on good terms is going to call you when you're not on good terms.
That's like I said, the ship has sailed.
Well, we don't know. Let's move on. We spent a lot of time with them.
They're all here for a reason. So they clearly don't have the best connection.
Track record. Right.
Yeah. Our next couple, or the next people that we talked about, was Courtney and Cornelius.
Right.
I guess this one was more focused on Cornelius, and he had a connection with Courtney and Mumain.
Right.
But Courtney was, Cornelius. Goodness, I'm thinking
Cornelius.
Corey.
You said Cornelius.
Yes, but I'm thinking Corey in my mind. Cornelius, yes. Camille's guy. Okay.
Right.
Okay, this was focused on her being really kind of aggressive towards him, a guy that was celibate. And so she was they showed him her rubbing on his thigh.
Being hypersexual, right?
Yes, even though she
more so than when she was at the reunion. She seemed normal at the reunion, right?
Maybe it's the hair.
Let's talk about that hair. I thought her hair looked fabulous on the show, the series, and then I didn't like it as much on the reunion, right? Because it was so like flat on her head.
Hair. Oh,
straight hair. Do you think that was her hair on the show? I thought it was.
No,
I was trying to figure it out because like I wear my hair natural. I have very fine hair, so it's hard for me to get my hair like super, super big.
That looks like a wig.
So then I couldn't figure it out really.
Yeah.
But I know at one point when she like was on the confessional and she like moved her head back, a piece of hair came out in her hands. So then I was like, was that a wig or it was like
it looked like a wig that was just like sitting at the very top of her head. Because it looked like.
But then she was running her hands through it during the show and playing with it, and I don't know. I thought it was hers. Maybe it wasn't. Like,
that didn't look like her. It didn't look like her hair.
I liked it though.
It was cute. I felt like it was just too like high up, not big, but it looked like it was just sitting on the crown of her head and then it fluffed down. It just didn't feel like it was like pulled down all the way. But she was cute. Yeah.
But yeah, so when we were watching the like flashbacks when Camille and Cornelius and Courtney and someone else were all on a double date, Walter, I think. I thought it was funny how Camille asked the question about having sex with someone before they got married. And I think that's because she already knew how Cornelius felt about that. And she wanted to get that like out to him so that he could like go ahead and rule Courtney out. So looking at it like back, I was like, look at Camille. But yeah, I feel like that's kind of really all about that segment. I guess, I don't know the point.
But one thing that we didn't find out is he's still celibate. The host once again missed out and didn't ask him that question. Is he still,
that's another
or
question.
did him and Camille have sex, or is he still holding on to no sex before marriage? She totally missed out on that.
I kind of feel like he's still holding on to
yeah, maybe.
Just because of Camille's like facial expressions later. We'll talk about it later, but yeah, I just feel like she's maybe not getting everything she wants from him. Okay, so then we go to Corey, and they show us a never seen before footage of Corey crying in his confessional, choking up. Let me say that, choking up in his confessional.
I still don't get the whole thing.
I don't think anybody does. And it just kind of seems like he's a liar. I don't know. Like he just seems like a liar. Like you can't read him.
Can't trust what he's saying is true.
Can't trust anything that he's saying. And someone kept pointing out that he was an actor. Maybe not a good one.
Humane. Yeah.
Okay. So I wonder.
Is he an actor?
Well, he's probably a struggling actor. Yeah.
I thought he was like, didn't he own a gym or?
I don't know.
Well, he says he's a 6-figure guy. So maybe he's an actor. Maybe he has like a real job, but he's hoping to become an actor.
He owns a gym, because I remember them talking about it in fitness. Remember the first couple of episodes, they showed him at the gym, his gym, lifting the weights and so forth, and the tires and so forth. I don't know about him. I too feel that he lies and like he's not somebody that you can really trust.
Yeah, and it was weird because like Camille, did y'all notice that like Cornelius was just doing everything Camille did? Like, so she was supporting someone, he was supporting her. If she had like a stank face, he had a stank face.
Yeah.
It's just like, dude, be your own person.
I know.
They were both standing up for him when he said, when they were saying that he wasn't sincere. But yeah, I mean, it kind of seemed like he wasn't. And then he said
Sabrina then stood up for him too, and she said that she got to know him and he's a great guy, and she believed that he was being sincere about the crying and not understanding why he keeps on doing what he's doing. It's like, dude, you're doing it. That's why.
Well, he tried to
probably a
explain
nice
why.
guy.
He tried to explain why he was doing what he was doing,
Yeah.
He said, he watched his mom and dad, and the mom giving the dad
he wanted
feelings
someone that looked at him
love.
the way his mom looked at his dad. But if doing all the same thing with, multiple women isn't working, maybe try something different. Maybe focus your attention on one woman that's expressed a little bit of interest in you. Like, let's go that route.
Yeah.
Copy paste isn't working for you.
Right. Well, most of the times when you copy paste, you're not doing it to the same women that are all able to talk to each other in real time. You're doing it to one woman that doesn't know any of the other women. But I also think that it's almost like he's programmed himself to act a certain way with women, and that's all he knows how to do. Yeah. Because Sabrina said that, I think it was Sabrina, I'm not sure who it was talking, said the lady that said she's gotten to know him, that he's misunderstood. And I wish the hostess would have gone more into it. I mean, if the guy is crying on stage when nobody else was showing anything emotional, I wanted to figure out what was going on with him.
I mean, she did ask him, and that's what he said about his parents. But I mean, since Mumin said he was an actor, like I was just like, yeah, these seem like crocodile tears.
But his face was getting all red.
And his eyes were getting red.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I kind of believed him, but like,
really?
I did, but I think it's like his own doing. Like, he knows what he's doing, but he can't stop doing it.
And he's lying about it because he lied about like putting the note cards out for Courtney. And then when Tia is on the stage and she's like,
tell him I'm the third person. And he wouldn't. Was he embarrassed about her? Is that why he didn't want to admit it?
Well, then the guys called him out too, because
he was like, I'm the only one who was supporting you.
That's why I don't believe him. I just couldn't, I didn't believe him.
Yeah.
But yeah, good luck to him. Best of luck. And then we go to Sia a little bit, and they talk about how she was very direct, and that didn't work with the men. And that's when she let everyone know that she was waxed and waxed. So she's
right. And no second chances, for anybody.
So if the guys all liked her and none of the guys had her in their bottom, why did she get kicked off?
She was in the bottom on the first episode, wasn't she?
Well, like what's his name said? Was it
Phil?
Phil said, I was defending you for a minute there, but we all liked her, and she was either Phil or Walter said it. That she was never on the bottom. She was always, higher than the bottom. So then I thought to myself, then why did she get kicked off? If she was so desired by everybody and so wanted by everybody. But it was nice of them to say that.
Yeah, definitely.
It made her feel good. She got up and pranced around on the stage and sat back down. So I mean, kudos to her.
Yeah, I think it was more that she was like a homegirl. No one put her in the bottom because she had a bad personality, but no one was just into her romantically. That's
kind of like that comedian lady a couple seasons ago. Yeah. Everyone liked her. You guys know what I'm talking about? But they just wanted to be friends with her, not date her.
Yes. Yeah. And then we talk about Naim and Zadia.
I like them as a couple. And I thought that Zadia was very calm. She wasn't hypey. She admitted when she was wrong completely. And she didn't try to make excuses for herself. And she didn't pick Naim in the beginning, but she picked him in the end. So, I mean, they seem to be doing well.
I feel fakeness.
I did too, because the way she was insistent on acknowledging that they were there together, she wouldn't even let the host ask if they were there together. She was just like, oh, well, I have someone, we worked it out. It was just kind of...
I felt that way too, but then he was defending her so hard that it made me
think
think,
on
okay,
her part, maybe not on his part.
wait,
Because
say that again?
it's probably real on
his part.
but maybe not on hers, because I felt it was fake because, first of all, her body language did not give me that vibe of this is my man, even though he was all up on her, you know? And I felt like since Cornelius and old girl were together, you know, she needed to have a partner so they can do partner things, you know, hang out together, couple outings and so forth. So I felt like she felt she needed somebody on stage. And I feel like that's what they did to get together and just to have
and
it.
he's acting very similar to Cornelius, like everything, you know, remember last episode, the reunion part 1, like he was just defending her,
right?
You know, she wasn't in the right. And so but I do think he's into her. I think he really likes her. He self-eliminated because of her, you know, because of her. And I just, I mean, he's a nice guy. So I hope, you know, that she does give him a fair chance. And
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, her eye makeup was really rough. Like it was a lot, wasn't it?
I don't remember that.
Everyone's makeup. And well, we're gonna get to Aisha and Dante now, I guess. Are we done with? Are we done?
Yeah, they were boring.
So Aisha and Dante, when they showed her the flashbacks, I was like, "Ooh, her makeup was bad there, and it was bad there." Like, so throughout the season, I think it was bad too.
Oh, I didn't think so during the season, but maybe I thought it was
the color didn't match or wasn't blended in.
You know what I've noticed? That a lot of like Instagram people, their makeup from the eyes down is much lighter than their forehead. It's like they don't put any makeup on their forehead, but they put a ton of makeup from the eye below. So it's like different colors.
That's not what it is. They put makeup all over. They bake their faces. That's what it is. It's called baking, where after you put your makeup on, you do your line, you do these light lines here to lighten and brighten down here. And then you put that, you pat it in with your sponge, and then you take powder and you put it on, brush a little bit off, brush a little bit off, put a little bit more on. My daughter showed me the baking method.
Yeah, but then your forehead doesn't match. So why aren't they baking the foreheads too?
Because they're giving a brightness down here.
Okay, it doesn't look good.
That's what it is. That's what it is. They're baking to give brightness down here to get rid of. It started with trying to get rid of all the dark circles under people's eyes.
Concealer usually works pretty well, but I guess we're past that.
But people forget you can't walk out the house like that because
they do in Atlanta.
So yeah, Aisha and Dante, they showed their journey, and of course, like Dante was down for Zadia up until the retreat. And that's where Aisha shined. So where Zadia fell, she just picked up, and it seems like
I'm mimicking your friend, okay?
Camille?
Yeah.
She had stank face the most.
I have it right here.
Well, I understand why she did that with. I understand why she did that with Aisha, because they had like beef. So she wasn't trying to give them anything. But it was funny. I was watching Cornelius, and sometimes he would start to smile when they were talking about the relationship, and then he'd have to remember and like put on a solemn face. So he was trying to be just like Camille the whole time.
It was funny. I was cracking up because she was so upset over it.
Yeah, and I think it was a little more than her not liking Aisha. I think she was jealous.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
He has a lapdog right there. Was she jealous?
I don't think she's jealous. I think she just hates her. Like literally hates her. She did everything in her power not to look over there or pretend she was fixing her belt.
Yeah, I saw that.
Her ugly dress, the satin. Yeah. She did everything in her power. And then because they were so fixated, the camera was so fixated on her, it got close enough where I could see her edges. I was like,
oh, really?
Wow. I saw that the whole time just because of the way she had her hair on the reunion.
Oh yeah, I was just like, wow. to have that much hate and disdain for somebody.
Well, they both do. They both really hate each other.
I wish we knew like I don't know. Okay. Like, did they spend that much time together that they could garner that much hate for each other?
I think it's mainly on Aisha's part. I think that she really dislikes Camille, and Camille is reacting towards that because Aisha couldn't stop talking about Camille the first part one.
Yeah, she couldn't stop. This is on and on.
Mm-hmm. So do you guys think
feel about their relationship?
Yeah.
I mean, I hope, I hope things are going well. They did, say that things were like, they had their highs, they had their lows. He confirmed that she was his girlfriend. She may or may not have, cooked naked for him.
I think we know she did.
So, I mean, I don't know. It seems like things are going well. Again, they didn't really ask too many questions about like whether he met her child or, I mean, she did ask if there were wedding bells, which I'm like, this is probably only like months.
I know.
So
I know.
let's
Girl,
be serious. Let's ask real questions.
And at least he did it. At least he said, we're taking it slow, one step at a time. We're taking it, but if it was up to her, they'd be ready to get married, it seems like.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about that because she did say she's been married before. So I think she would take her time because she has children, but I think she really feels like he's a good man.
Right. I do hope they work out. Usually I wouldn't like lace on a man, but I kind of liked his suit.
It looked good.
I thought it looked good on him.
No, he's not looking.
Well, I liked it on him.
I liked it too.
Yeah, so that was all of our couples. And then at the end, they give them a chance to say their final words or shoot their shot to someone on the stage. And Tyrone decided to shoot his shot at the host.
Like, dude, misfire. That was a complete misfire. She is not interested in you.
I was like, he's probably sitting there the whole reunion, like in love with her. I think he's like a guy who catches feelings kind of fast, or not feelings, not that he had feelings for her, but just like makes his decision that he is in like with someone really fast. Because he did that with Shiloh,
Yeah.
I want to say something really quick before we end. Did anybody look at Sydney's dress during this second part of the reunion? Like literally, and I'm sorry, people, but I've got to say it. The top of her dress was like squishing her breast down, so it was just like right above the nipple area.
Yeah, I told you it was too small. It was too small.
I was like,
and it was like flattening her and pressing her down, and I don't know how it stayed up. I don't know how her breast stayed in that dress.
Must have been tons of tape. There was that tape.
But you mentioned Sydney, and that made me remember that we forgot to mention this last episode, that there was someone missing from the reunion, and that was Shiloh.
Yeah, before. Yeah, that's
did we say that last time?
Yeah, she decided she decided not to come because of what happened between her and Phil.
But we don't know that. We don't know that. They didn't say why she didn't come.
Yeah, but that's what I think. I don't think that she wanted to discuss it or rehash it.
Well, I heard something on one of the YouTube blogs that she was suing OWN.
For what?
I didn't get that part, but that she was suing. So I was trying to see.
They didn't say?
No, well, they were discussing it as part of something else. So they were talking about the reunion part too. So they didn't really get into it. So I was trying to look it up, but I couldn't find anything.
Well, I'm going to be looking that up because I want to know.
She hasn't done, a lot of the people on the show have done reunions. She hasn't done any, not reunions, interviews. She hasn't done any interviews with anyone on YouTube.
But the thing is, like, I'm sure she signed so much away when she decided to be on the show. Yeah. I can't imagine what she thinks she
don't have a leg to stand on.
Yeah, it's kind of silly.
what in the world could she possibly, what happened on the show that they didn't show or they cut off?
No one was on her side after what happened between her and Phil. So I'm pretty sure she's in.
What happened between her and Phil? Phil didn't choose her.
No, remember he picked her up and carried her back.
I know, but okay, so what? That happened off camera or did it happen on camera and they just didn't show it?
Well, that's their prerogative. They don't have to show it.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I hope that if
I don't know why they wouldn't show it. That's good TV.
Yeah.
Definitely is needed on that show, because I have to say this really quick. This show does not give me much substance. It just doesn't. I feel like it's edited weirdly. Like it doesn't give you like real information. And maybe it's because there's so many people on the show that it's
next season they're only going to have seven couples. Yeah.
7 couples. So maybe it won't be so rushed and they'll actually have time
to really let us learn about each person.
And what they're going through.
Because aren't they supposed to introduce more people halfway through the season?
Oh God, please. Is that what they're doing?
I think that's what I saw when I first.
And that gives them even less of a chance to really have a connection.
But I don't think it's just 2 people. I think they're bringing in
probably 3 couples to make it 10.
Yeah.
Oh, so please.
At the end of this season, there were only 2 couples that made it. 2 couples out of 10. Phil and
Sydney.
And 3 couples. Camille and Cornelius, and Aisha and Dante. Oh, no, 4. And Nadia and Naim, if we think they're real.
Yeah.
So that's not too bad. But I wonder, like in a month, how long will they be together? You know,
or if they're even together today. Maybe I'll do some investigation.
Right. If they're really together.
But yeah, I mean, that's it.
Right.
Ready to
next week.
4 or 5.
Right. Next week starts the new season. So next Friday starts the taping of the new season.
But I think it's going to be, let's get to know them. These are our people. Because don't they usually do that?
I guess. I can't remember how the first episode.
I can't remember how. I can't remember how it is. But we'll watch it and see what happens. But they seem funner, younger,
which I kind of liked it when they did the older couples. Like my favorite seasons were the first 2 seasons.
Yes.
Like, especially when they were in that one like resort. And
that's not the first season. That's not the
first 2.
No, the first.
Is that the 3rd?
That was the second season when they were in the resort. Because remember, season 1 was really 2 seasons.
Right.
Remember? So that's when I first started watching it. And I was like, oh, this show love it.
Then I liked the first 3 seasons because I also liked it when they were like tucked away at the resort. That was actually my favorite season.
That was my favorite season.
That's the first people I watched, but I liked it.
Yeah, they were beautiful, older, mature, and I really liked them. All of them I liked.
Yeah, I had more of a storyline to it too. And you got to really know the couples. And maybe it was because there was more film of them actually getting to know each other, interacting with each other instead of just dates and
arguments.
Dates and meeting people's family, and that that whole entire thing is just like discombobulated for some reason. I just couldn't get into it. But that was the best. That was the best season to me. The Atlanta season, that very first season, that was kind of hard for me to watch just because it seemed like the men had all the power.
Yeah, that was horrible. Like shame on OWN for doing it that way, where the men got to pick, and then it whittled down to 4 women and 10 guys. That was ridiculous. But they learned real quick when people started complaining.
Because their audience is going to be females watching this. Right. So
I guess we're excited about the next season. I wish it was a month from now, not next week, but we'll just have to get through it and enjoy it.
In the meantime, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.